Right now on 10 News at 11.
Heavy rain, snow, and flooding all across the county. A foot of water rushing into one home, forcing the owners out just months after moving in.
Justice tonight for the family of a local man found dead in the trunk of a car. His suspected killer now behind bars. What else police found inside his home that shocked investigators?
Plus the fierce fight to keep a safe parking lot for homeless families from being built in Encinitas.
10 News begins with breaking news.
A UPS semi jackknifes on wet roads, causing all lanes of the 15 North to shut down just south of the 8.
Our photojournalist Paul Anderegg is live in our 10 News breaking news tracker. So Paul, they're trying to get that truck out of there right now.
Yeah, the tow truck is on scene. They've just opened up the northbound lanes about 10 minutes ago. This is what it looks like right now. You can see that tow truck on the left side. Show you some video of what this looked like a short time ago. Now, this is northbound 15. It's going to be right at Interstate 8. Truck's actually right over like Camino del Rio South. This is a very common area for big rig tractor trailers to jackknife and crash. I don't know the last storm we've had where there wasn't a few of these. We actually covered another one of these this morning. So it's blocking the right-hand lanes. They've got at least the left number 1 lane, the fast lane that is opened up at this time. They've issued a SIG alert, so expect some delays around this area. Be very careful. Come slow coming through here. We'll bring you more updates on 10 News this morning. Back to you.
All right, Paul, thank you. There is also damage throughout San Diego County caused by heavy rains over the past 2 days. Tonight, a family is cleaning up their home after it was flooded. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. The storm dumped several inches in some area, and we're not done yet. We have team coverage of this storm. We start with Anthony Pura. He's live in La Jolla. Anthony?
That's right. About 20 minutes ago, the skies really opened up, and you can see that it is just a downpour out here tonight here in La Jolla. This has kind of been the story throughout the day as we chased rain across the county. We were up in the North County earlier, and it rained up there so hard it caught one family by surprise.
This Vista home on West Los Angeles Drive was submerged after heavy rains caused flash flooding.
The water was going inside the living room. It was in the living room, in the kitchen, and it was inside. It was going inside the guest bathroom and one of the bedrooms.
Minerva Sevilla says she was at work when it all happened. Her friends from out of town were staying with her. They took these pictures showing the water seeping inside.
It's really frustrating.
Frustrating because her family bought the house in July, only to see storm water pouring into their new home from the front and back doors.
And they couldn't open their house. They had to open the window and
open the window to get in and out of the house. When the fire department arrived, they helped clean out a drain that had clogged. But Minerva says she doesn't think there's enough drains on their street to begin with because their home sits downhill and all the storm water from their street drains into their property.
We want to ask the city if they can put a storm drain on the street because this will happen again.
Now the family says that they've dried up their house enough that they are able to sleep there tonight. In the meantime, they are warning other families that are house hunting to really learn the history of a house before buying. We're reporting live tonight. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Anthony, thank you. What a shame, because more to come. Some areas got 3 to 4 inches of rain in the past 2 days. Our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, is here tracking where it is still coming down, and the more to come as well.
That's right. The toughest part is going to be tonight. By tomorrow morning, it will be much better. So if you're concerned about that, there is some good news. We still have some heavy rain. We've been tracking a couple of thunderstorms in the La Jolla area. So let's zoom right into the action zone, and that is exactly where it is in La Jolla, stretching all the way east and also moving through Imperial Beach. So we're going to go area by area, starting in the north in La Jolla and all the way back to Mira Mesa, where that rain is coming down heavily. We're looking at more than ½ an inch of rain per hour, averaging around ½ an inch. And this one's showing you a little bit lighter, but we still have some of that heavy rain. And there's going to be a few more rounds of thunderstorms and heavy rainfall overnight as those clusters you see over the water will be tracking off to the east. Everything is going to be moving in the same location, so problems with flash flooding will continue until tomorrow morning when it'll start to get a little bit lighter, but more rain is also expected on Thursday.
Thank you, Angelica. The power is back on in the South Bay. Thousands of people were left in the dark in Chula Vista today when the weather knocked out the electricity. Several roads were flooded, and as so often happens when it rains, sewage poured across the border through the Tijuana River Valley. This video from the East County shows how quickly a flash flood can develop. Our crew in Alpine shot the video on the left first, and on the right, you can see how different it was just 11 minutes later. Businesses say they took a hit today because of the rain, but they're hoping to avoid damaging flooding. Our crew in San Marcos saw several people move the road closed signs to risk driving down the flooded streets. The creek overflowed, frustrating drivers who were trying to avoid the traffic on San Marcos Boulevard.
And we didn't just see rain. A 10 News viewer sent us this video of snow as it started falling on Palomar Mountain. Check out the video from Laguna Mountain Lodge, too. Enough snow was there to cover the ground. Father Joe's is making extra room to give people on the street some shelter just for the night. You can see a line of people up this afternoon just to get inside. The team there is turning their dining room into a temporary shelter with space for 134 more people. There will be food as well. And stay on top of the weather anytime with the 10 News app. You can access the radar and our video forecasts. A free version is available for download in the App Store.
A major break tonight in the mysterious murder of an Escondido Army veteran. He was found dead in the trunk of a car in Anaheim last month.
Our 10 News anchor Lindsay Pena has details on the arrest, which happened late today, where they found someone being held hostage inside the suspect's home.
Yeah, Stephen, Kim, this is that suspect right here. Investigators say the kidnapping victim had been there at least 2 days when SWAT teams rolled in.
It was the news family and friends of Adrian Benar had been waiting for. Weeks after the Escondido man's body was found in an abandoned car in Anaheim, investigators announced they'd arrested a suspect. 27-year-old Antonio Silva Lopez was taken into custody at a home in Santa Ana. Police say he had guns, 2 kilograms of fentanyl, and a hostage, a man whose name hasn't been released yet.
Even now, it's still hard for me to believe. This is something we never could have imagined or prepared for.
That was Benar's brother speaking to 10 News shortly after his brother was found dead. He said the 34-year-old Army veteran was trying to start his own business and be closer to his son and daughter.
He wanted to build the best life that he could for his children, and he was working very hard to get to that goal.
But before he could do that, police believe Lopez killed him. Although at this point, the details and motive haven't been released. Lopez is now facing a murder charge along with a felony count of kidnapping.
At this point, detectives wouldn't comment on how they tied Silva to Benar's killing. It's also not clear if there could be other victims connected to this suspect. Reporting in the studio, Lindsay Pena, 10 News.
Parts of San Diego felt the shaking from a small earthquake off our coast tonight. It measured 3.1 on the Richter scale. The epicenter was 26 miles west of Encinitas. The USGS says the quake was felt south to San Diego and as far east as Escondido.
The lawyer for Eddie Gallagher claims the latest attempt to take action against him is simply retaliation for President Trump's involvement in the case. Gallagher served as a Navy SEAL in Iraq. He was put on trial for murdering an ISIS prisoner, among several other charges. He was found not guilty of the most serious charge of murder, but was also found guilty of posing for a picture with a dead ISIS fighter. Gallagher was demoted, but President Trump reversed that decision last week. Well, now the Navy Review Board will consider taking away Gallagher's trident pin, essentially throwing him out of the SEALs, a major dishonor.
It has no legitimate value for somebody that's about to retire, that you just want to take away their trident on the way out to, for purpose of public humiliation.
The hearing will be next month. The results will not affect Gallagher's pay grade. This is according to his lawyer. Gallagher is planning on retiring as soon as possible.
Tonight, the impeachment inquiry heard from its most anticipated witness. U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, was grilled on the key accusation at the center of the investigation. Sondland told Congress there was a quid pro quo regarding Ukraine's president visiting the White House in exchange for announcing an investigation. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi is in Washington with more.
A bombshell assertion by President Trump's handpicked point person to Ukraine. U.S. Ambassador to the European Union Gordon Sondland testifying there was a quid pro quo involving Ukraine and the Trump administration's push for an investigation into the Bidens and the 2016 election.
Was there a quid pro quo? As I testified previously, with regard to the requested White House call and the White House meeting, the answer is yes.
Sondland also stating that he grew concerned when he began to presume that nearly $400 million in military aid was being withheld at the direction of the president as a stipulation.
President Trump wanted a public statement from President Zelensky committing to investigations of Burisma and the 2016 election.
Who would benefit from an investigation of the Bidens?
I assume President Trump would benefit.
There we have it, see?
Sondland insisting he wasn't acting alone, saying everyone, quote, was in the loop, but acknowledging that the president never told him directly. President Trump was quick to deny Sondland's account, recalling to reporters a conversation Sondland says took place in early September.
I want no quid pro quo. Tell Zelensky, President Zelensky, to do the right thing.
Republicans claim the right thing was fighting corruption.
Guess what? They got the money. They got the money.
But that call came one day after the White House learned of the whistleblower's complaint and just as Congress was launching its investigation.
GOP lawmakers have also argued that Ukraine wasn't aware that military aid was being withheld during that now infamous July 25th phone call. But Laura Cooper, a Pentagon official, testified Wednesday that the Ukrainian embassy was asking what's going on with the aid that same day. Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
Your voice, your vote. It was another crowded stage with 10 Democratic presidential candidates at tonight's fifth primary debate. It was hosted by MSNBC and the Washington Post. The big issue tonight was over health care.
People have been talking about health care for all. Well, you know what? I think now is the time.
The fact is that right now, the vast majority of Democrats do not support Medicare for all. It couldn't pass the United States Senate right now.
Candidates did agree on bringing a heavily divided country together in a post-Trump America.
But the next president, whoever they are, is going to have to be someone who can heal.
We cannot simply be consumed by Donald Trump. Because if we are, you know what? We're going to lose the election.
Only 6 candidates have qualified so far for that December debate here in California.